the Waste Management is the pinnacle of exciting golf. Obviously, you have the majors and the fifth major in the Players, but man, the Waste Management has become one of those awesome tournaments where we see just the greatest fan spectacles in really any sport. The Coliseum on the 16th hole is bucket list. I've got to make it out there. And what we have in the Waste Management coming this week is going to be exciting golf. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hammy Show. We've got episode 3 of the Daily Ham coming to you live here on TikTok and on Instagram. We're recording for YouTube later. I'm your host, Hammy Culpepper. This is the Hammy Show presented by First American Bank and Trust. As you can see, we're in a little bit of a different area, a little bit of a different backdrop behind me. We had some major news come from the Ham Cave as a result of this snowstorm that just happened. The pipes busted. Sewer line busted, water everywhere, so I had to abandon ship. I'm in Atlanta recording from the girlfriend's house, so we're here. But appreciate all y'all tuning back in for the Daily Ham episode 3. I want to talk about my friends at First American real quick. I say this time and time again. They are the best in the business because of the people that work there. When you're dealing with any services, money, whether it's plumbing, whether it's electricity, whatever, all of the people that serve you, that's what matters to me the most. And at First American, they have the best people in the entire world. I don't understand any of this money talk. I don't understand any of my finances, which is something that is definitely not good about myself. But I was a journalism major. I don't understand any of it. But the people at First American make it so easy. They've helped me start up this LLC, the Hammy Show LLC, and get this thing off the ground, and I would not be here without them as just my money manager, but also as the presenting sponsor of the Hammy Show. So huge shout out to First American Bank and Trust. But let's jump right into the sports news. We've got a ton going on. Football is winding down. We've got the Super Bowl, 1 game left in all of football for the year 2025 and into the 2026 season. Super Bowl preview, we've got it coming to you later this week. Jack Wright and I are hopping on. We're talking everything Seahawks, everything Patriots to get you ready with every bit of information that you need moving into Super Bowl Sunday, this coming Sunday. So stay tuned for some clips on social media from that full episode here on YouTube and on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcast on any listening platform. So let's talk a little coaching carousel in the NFL. Cardinals hire Mike LaFleur, the Rams offensive coordinator. Now, last week we talked about Clint Kubiak was interviewing with the Cardinals and the Raiders, so it's looking like Clint Kubiak is going to be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders once the Super Bowl concludes. He is, of course, the offensive coordinator for Seattle, so we will have to wait and see after the Super Bowl ends on Sunday to see where the Raiders go and if that is Clint Kubiak. But that is definitely your betting favorite. That is definitely your favorite overall to end up in Las Vegas. Huge hire, I think, for the Raiders to get him. I mean, Clint Kubiak has made something out of nothing with Sam Darnold. We all know what Sam Darnold was, first-round draft pick. He goes to the Jets. His offensive coordinator there is Peyton Manning's offensive coordinator, and he runs the Peyton Manning type of offense, which is almost impossible, and there's only one person in the world that can run Peyton Manning offense, and that is Peyton Manning. So Sam Darnold was thrown into something that was a brutal system and something very tough, but now he's gotten and found his home in Seattle, and Clint Kubiak has been a major part in refining Sam Darnold and finding where his game works, where his weaknesses are, and capitalizing on those strengths while surrounding the weaknesses with strengths around him, like a JSN, like a Kenneth Walker at running back. So Sam Darnold, much thanks to Clint Kubiak. I think he would sit here and tell you the same thing. Clint Kubiak, of course, going to the Raiders. If that does happen, the Raiders will most undoubtedly pick up Fernando Mendoza with that first overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. And hey, you got a hell of a quarterback coming in, Fernando Mendoza. I'm super excited to see if this does happen, Clint Kubiak work with Fernando Mendoza, have those weapons around him like a Brock Bowers at tight end, Ashton Genty at running back, and we shall see what Clint Kubiak can do with that Las Vegas offense. Definitely going to be something to keep your eye on moving into the 2026 season and after the Super Bowl to see if the Raiders actually get that hire done. On the Cardinals side, That's where we started this whole conversation. Mike LaFleur, the Rams offensive coordinator, is going to Arizona to take on that Cardinals team as head coach. Man, Mike LaFleur has been a name obviously surrounding the NFL and within many programs, many franchises within the NFL. So I think that's going to be an excellent hire as well. It's going to be interesting to see which way they go, which route they go with quarterback, whether it's going to be Kyler Murray or they go get somebody in the NFL draft. Who knows, but Mike LaFleur is going to be a great head coach. He's got the offensive mind of a genius, what he's done with Stafford and that Rams offense, having those weapons around him, getting Puka Nacua the ball. If the Cardinals can find that guy in Marvin Harrison, maybe he steps up and is that guy. Man, I'm excited to see what Mike LaFleur can do in Arizona. On the other side of the coaching carousel, other than the hires, you've got the fires. And this is not necessarily the coaching carousel, but GM of the Vikings, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, is fired, and it has been a historic just blunder of, I don't even know what you want to call it. It's unfortunate what is coming out, the reports that are coming out of Minnesota right now, but we've heard some good, we've heard some bad. Main thing is that Ryan Clark talked about it today, that Kwesi was actually on paternity leave, and that has led to his firing, which is absolute BS. If the Vikings are doing that, in my opinion, I don't think in the slightest you can ever do that to a person trying to be with their family even more. We just saw Joe Brady take the podium for the Bills as he has been hired in Buffalo, and he was talking about how he missed the birth of his first child, and he gets praised because he's coaching. That's his job. Guys, what is the reward of being a coach if you don't have any family life? We're raising the next generation. That's the whole point of being here on this earth. And I just don't think taking away from your job for your family, for your kid, is in the slightest way the wrong way to do things. And so the fact is, if Minnesota truly fired Kwesi because of him being on paternity leave, I think that's absolute BS. But there's some little NFL news as we move into Super Bowl week. We're obviously going to keep you updated on any Super Bowl news moving into Super Bowl 60 there in San Francisco. Jack Wright, like I said, was coming on. We're doing a full preview show later this week. Jack's actually going to be in San Francisco, so go follow him on social media at Jack Wright. He's going to have plenty of content for you there, but we're going to have stuff here on the Hammy Show as well. Moving on to the next sport, tennis. In the tennis world, Alcaraz wins at the Australian Open, takes down Djokovic in 4 sets, as well as Rybakina. Rybakina takes down number 1 Sabalenka in the Australian Open final on the women's singles side. So big-time major tennis, big-time Grand Slam wins for Rybakina and Alcaraz. And then in golf, the other country club sport, Justin Rose just dominant this weekend at the Farmers Insurance Open. Guys, golf season is upon us, and it is so exciting. We got the Waste Management Open this week. The Waste Management is the pinnacle of exciting golf. Obviously, you have the majors and the 5th major in the Players, but man, the Waste Management has become one of those awesome tournaments where we see just the greatest fan spectacles in really any sport. The Coliseum on the 16th hole is bucket list. I've got to make it out there. And what we have in the Waste Management coming this week is going to be exciting golf. So if you're just now getting into the golf world, if you're not into the golf world, you have to watch the Waste Management because it's more than golf. It's an absolute spectacle of fandom. But going back to this past weekend, Justin Rose gets the 7-stroke win at the Farmers Insurance Open. It was just domination from start to finish. A 23 under was his finishing winning score. That's a 265 on the weekend. That beats Tiger Woods' record of a 266 that he set in 1999. Justin Rose went to the podium after and said that he was asked if he knew that record was there and if he knew that he was chasing it. And he was like, yeah, it was the only thing that I thought about on the last 3 holes. It was the only thing keeping me going because nobody was going to catch Justin Rose. So all he had to do was just fight against Tiger Woods' record. Absolutely electric answer from Justin Rose. Absolutely electric win from Justin Rose at the Farmers Insurance. It's also the first time in 71 years at the Farmers Insurance that somebody has been leading after every single round. All 72 holes Justin Rose does it. Not even Tiger Woods could do it. The last time it happened was in 1955, and I can't even remember the dude's name that he did it, but I'm sure Justin Rose wasn't aware of that record that he just took down there at the Farmers Insurance Open. Like I said, Waste Management this week. We're going to bring you some more preview for them, for that tournament as we get on in the golf season, the PGA Tour season. But going on right now, the TGL Atlanta versus Jupiter. Jupiter just went on a 5-hole streak. They're up 5-2 as we speak, I believe. Let me double check that score. Yep, still up 5-2. So big time performance there from the TGL. Guys, I love the TGL. It's indoor golf, and yes, it's, maybe not going to be your typical PGA Tour battles that we see throughout the weekends of the PGA Tour season. But TGL, man, it is something to watch on Monday night. Please, please, please tune into the TGL because I'm going to keep you updated on all that goes on in the TGL season here on the Daily Ham as we get into it. Then we got to move on to the ice, man. The NHL is thriving right now. And you can say it's because of the Four Nations that happened last year. Hell, you can even say it's because of the show that just came out that every single female in America is watching Heated Rivalry. I have not personally watched it, but the girlfriend and all of her roommates, they watch it every single day. I think my girlfriend's watched it 6 times through. Hockey is thriving right now. And what we saw last night in Tampa Bay of the NHL Stadium Series was awesome. If you haven't seen it yet, Baker Mayfield led them out. He was wearing a Tampa Bay Lightning jersey. The entire Tampa Bay Lightning team, they were wearing the entire Tampa Bay Buccaneers creamsicle throwback uniforms. Now, I'm not just saying they were all in jerseys walking into Raymond James Stadium. No, they were decked out, full pads, pants, cleats, socks, helmet, shoulder pads, everything. It was awesome. What a way to enter the stadium. And then the game. The game was electric. If you haven't seen, Tampa Bay scores a goal within the first 12 seconds of action. Then they get down 5-1. They come all the way back and beat the Boston Bruins 6-5. Like I said, guys, hockey is thriving right now. Tune in to what is happening on the ice. I don't know much puck, but I'm learning a little puck, and I have been enthralled by the NHL season thus far. So as we move into the Winter Olympics, guys, that is going to be some awesome hockey. You got to get into the hockey. What's up, everybody? Just wanted to give you a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button on the Hammy Show. We really appreciate all of the support and all of the following that we are gaining constantly. But if you keep doing that, we can keep bringing you this constant coverage. All of the ham-powered antics, the lovable chaos, the wild moments in this crazy world of sports, it's right here on the Hammy Show. And if you hit that button, you won't miss an episode. Now, let's get back to the show. NBA trade deadline looms. It has been absolute pandemonium. Nothing too crazy outside of the Trae Young trade from Atlanta to the Washington Wizards has happened that is too exciting, but there are some major superstars, blockbuster trades that could happen, and there is none other that headline the NBA trade deadline than that is Giannis. Giannis has probably 4 potential big-time suitors that are really in the mix, and that is the Knicks, the Warriors, the Heat, and the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are really throwing everything at the Bucks to make sure that they can get everything that the Bucks deserve, keep Giannis happy, and get him to Minnesota to partner Anthony Edwards and really make a push in the Western Conference and into the finals. I think this would be an awesome, awesome pairing if Minnesota gets Giannis. You have Ant-Man, you have Giannis. Just how cool would that be? Ant-Man is one of the most electrifying young stars that we see in the NBA right now. And to partner him with a Giannis would just so the trade proposals that are happening is they would get rid of Julius Randle and a few other big-time pieces on that Timberwolves team. But I think if you just get those 2 superstars in Anthony Edwards and Giannis alongside each other, I swear I think the Timberwolves automatically jump to one of the Western Conference favorites, one of the favorites to take down the Thunder, one of the favorites to really make it to the finals and potentially win the entire NBA Finals. So it's crazy. If you're an NBA fan, keeping an eye on that Giannis proposals. The Heat, the Warriors, and the Knicks are the other ones outside of the Timberwolves that could really make a push for Giannis. The Knicks, their trade proposals are 3-team trade proposals. They could potentially send Cat to the Blazers to get Giannis, and it's a whole mess. What would happen if the Knicks were to get him? I like the Timberwolves. I think that's the best fit for Giannis. I think that's the best fit for Minnesota. I think that's the best fit for Anthony Edwards. And, of course, I am biased to Anthony Edwards. Jack Wright tuning in. Hey, guys, we've got a big-time Super Bowl preview coming with Jack Wright later this week. As a Wolves fan, I'm not sure I want to get rid of McDaniels as well as every FRP. I agree. We already went to back-to-back Western Conference Finals without him. I know. But I'm just dreaming of how fun it would be to see Giannis and Ant-Man on the same floor. But I get it. How Minnesota doesn't want to get rid of Julius Randle. You don't want to get rid of McDaniels. I totally understand it because you have been to back-to-back Western Conference Finals. But I think Giannis is that guy that takes you to the next level. I think he's the one that can get you to the finals and potentially get a ring on your finger. But yeah, that's what's going on in the NBA. The trade deadline looms. Like I said, keep an eye on the Giannis packages. Keep an eye on some other major blockbusters that could happen, Ja Morant being another one. We talked a little bit about him last week, so we won't go too far into detail, but I think Giannis definitely headlines the trade deadline in the NBA. All right, fun segment we're doing on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Twitter is the Athlete of the Day. It's presented by the Vinyl Frontier. The Vinyl Frontier is awesome. It is the greatest record store in all of America. It is literally all about the experience of going in there, getting a record, listening to it on the 8-track while you're talking to the guys at the desk. It's awesome. But if you can't get into Carrollton, Georgia, if you can't get into the Vinyl Frontier, you can go to their website and find any record you could ever dream of. That's what the Vinyl Frontier is, and what we're doing on social media with them as the Athlete of the Day is putting together a little mixtape, a little highlight reel of an athlete from a random time period, from a random team, and we're just picking them. We've got Arian Foster out there. We've got Chauncey Billups out there. We just did Vince Young last Friday, and today the Athlete of the Day presented by the Vinyl Frontier Records was Yadier Molina. Yadi. We did Body by Megan Thee Stallion for Body Yaddy Yaddy, and Yadier Molina, what a legend he was in St. Louis. A Golden Glove winner like every single year he played, it feels like. A Platinum Glove winner. He is one of the best all-time catchers to ever play the game. Yadier Molina is your Athlete of the Day, presented by the Vinyl Frontier Records. Bet of the Day. Now, this is a fun segment we've been doing on here on the live Daily Ham, and tonight we've got a big-time college basketball game. Number 11 Kansas travels to Texas Tech, the number 13th ranked Red Raiders. Over-under 154.5, Texas Tech favored by 4.5. Kansas is coming off of a 5-game win streak, and Texas Tech is coming off of a brutal loss, a bad one to UCF earlier this weekend. So both teams, one Kansas coming in very hot, and then the Texas Tech Red Raiders coming in pissed off. So I think there's going to be some fireworks tonight. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Both of these teams are putting up 80, 90 points day in, day out, night in, night out. So we're taking the over 154.5 for your bet of the day tonight. Texas Tech and Kansas, the 11th and 13th ranked teams in the entire country. College basketball, guys, is exhilarating right now. College basketball is always one of the best times, and we're getting close to March, ladies and gents. We're really getting close to March when it really turns into a high gear. This is a huge matchup in determining seeds in the Big 12. This is a definitely one to keep your eye on. So if you don't have anything else to do, tune in to Texas Tech and Kansas as we get closer to March. Trey White for Kansas, guys. He is one of the most fun players to watch in college basketball right now. Have thoroughly enjoyed watching the Jayhawks and the Red Raiders. So, guys, like I said, big-time game coming tonight, and your bet of the day is the over at 154.5. We think there's fireworks coming out of Lubbock, Texas tonight. We're going to check some mailbag questions. I've got a few that were submitted earlier today. Mac Berry, just now on the TikTok, you hear about Come On Spell. Number 1 running back in the 2027 class commits to the University of Georgia. His Twitter post, his Instagram post were absolutely electric. He said, the best running back stay in the state of Georgia. This is RBU. Come On Spell will be the next great running back in Athens, Georgia. Nate Frazier reposted it. Everybody's all in on this kid. Come On Spell. I'm in on him. He's the number 1 running back in the class. He's going to be special here in Athens. RBU is very much alive and well here at the University of Georgia. Come On Spell, a major get for the University of Georgia, for Kirby Smart, for this Georgia football program. It's been, quite interesting to see the progression of running backs since, the likes of Nick Chubb and Sony Michel. You get a DeAndre Swift, the next best up-and-coming young running back in the SEC. He goes to the Lions as a second-round pick. He has a stint with the Eagles. Now he's balling out with the Bears. Georgia has some studs in the NFL. But you could maybe say it's fallen off a little bit. In those national championship years, you've got some greats in Kenny McIntosh, James Cook, Zamir White. James Cook is obviously balling out in Buffalo in the NFL. But really since then, it's been tough, I guess you could say, for this Georgia team. In the 2024 season, it was a very, very brutal rushing performance. Trevor Etienne and Nate Frazier were kind of your lead backs, but Nate Frazier was a freshman. Then this year, we take a step forward. Chauncey Bowens comes in. Nate Frazier's great. Cash Jones out of the backfield as a receiving back. But you go in to the recruiting class and you get a guy like Come On Spell, who is just a difference maker. He's an immediate plug-and-play dude. He gets to college. I think he's one of those types of guys that can immediately play, be an immediate impact player as a freshman. So big news coming out of Athens, Georgia today as they get the number 1 running back in the nation for the 2027 class. Had a few other kind of things we wanted to talk about on the mailbag segment. Some people were asking about the transfer portal and who I think is the best transfer this transfer portal cycle. I think it's Sam Leavitt. Sam Leavitt to LSU, Arizona State's former quarterback, and now he is with LSU. Lane Kiffin gets him a huge transfer portal get. I've seen a lot of people saying that Brendan Sorsby was the number 1 player in the country, but I really think this Sam Leavitt pickup for the LSU Tigers is absolutely massive. I think they're in better hands with Sam Leavitt than they were with Nussmeier and Brian Kelly at the helm. Obviously, Lane Kiffin's going to be the better head coach than Brian Kelly, but getting a guy like Sam Leavitt in there was a must, especially with the news that Trinidad Chambliss wasn't going to move with Lane Kiffin if he does end up back at Ole Miss. It's either Ole Miss or the draft for him, so getting a guy like Sam Leavitt was just remarkable for Lane Kiffin, a big-time get in his first year with the LSU Tigers. Another big-time transfer portal get, I think, and what really was a knife to the heart is Cam Coleman. Cam Coleman to Texas is going to be nuts. You got Ryan Wingo there already. Arch Manning has completely turned his season around toward the end of the 2025 season. He's got all the momentum going into 2026. You've got 2 weapons like that in Wingo and Coleman on the outside as receivers. In Austin, they're going to be scary, guys. They're going to be really scary. And I know all the Texas hype, it happens every year, but you got a defensive coordinator now and Will Muschamp. That's going to be a massive, massive boost on the defensive side of the ball. But then you get those 2 weapons in Wingo and Cam Coleman for Texas. I think Cam Coleman was an excellent transfer portal get for the Texas Longhorns as well. So there's some news around sports today in the Daily Ham, episode 3, guys. Thanks for joining. It's been a pleasure to get to do this. We're going to be right back here tomorrow night at 6 p.m. So if you're tuning in tonight, we're going to see you tomorrow. Please join us. It's just a quick hit around the sports world. We're going to keep you updated on everything that you need to know. Whether it's the NFL, whether it's college football, whether it's the NBA, the NHL, the golf world, the tennis world, we've got it all right here on the Daily Ham from the Hammy Show. So that does it for me. I want to talk to you about one quick sponsorship before we get off of here. We're back on the road. The Hammy Show is on the road, and we would not be able to do it without our friends at Hughes Subaru. Hughes Subaru, I drive a 2019 Subaru Outback, and they have been great friends of the show, great proponents of the show, and they are powering the Hammy Show on the road. It has been a joy to go to many, many college campuses throughout the college football season, but now we've got basketball, we've got baseball, and we're going all across the country in the Subaru Outback, thanks to Hughes Subaru. And we're giving you all the content, all of the coverage that you could possibly want from these various college games. We're going to get to some pro games. We might go to an NBA Atlanta Hawks game. I mean, who knows? We don't really know. We've got so many things scheduled, so many things lined up, and it would not be possible without our friends at Hughes Subaru. So stay tuned on the social channels for when the Hammy Show goes on the road, because it's some of the best content that we put out there. But guys, that does it for me here on the Daily Ham. This is episode 3. We will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. I'm Hammy Culpepper. This is the Hammy Show, presented by First American Bank and Trust, and we will see you next time. Ham it up.